What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of High Rollers, Roads and Rails. Today I got a special treat for y'all as we're at the Crewe Railroad Museum in Crewe, Virginia. So for those of y'all that don't know, Crewe, Virginia was a major crew change and major yard point for the Norfolk and Western Railway. Now they have this nice little museum right here along the old main line, which is right over this way, which is still ran by Norfolk Southern. So we may even get to see a Norfolk Southern train pass as we're here, but so this line was ran by the Norfolk and Western Railway, which you guys know I'm a big fan of. And this little museum has a ton of memorabilia and some really cool pictures and pieces and artifacts from the days of the Norfolk and Western. If you can't see right up there on that tower, it's hard to see, but there's actually a mural of the J-Class 611 up on there that's really cool. So I'll try to get a picture of that later. But anyway, so let's go ahead and check out what they have here. They have some rolling stock and a couple engines, as well as some of the stuff on the inside. So let's go check it out. So right here we have a passenger car, and the fellow tells me that this car was built in the 50s. This is a N&W streamlined smooth side passenger car. This was part of the Powhatan era, and the fellow tells me that this was a real deal N&W car. Really cool. I'll drop a picture right here in a second of my daughter Kinsley sitting in one of the seats. It's really cool. They've got the inside of the car all done up like it would have been in passenger service. There's a little Railway Express agency cart. These carts would have been used to move baggage off of the trains at the stations. Let's go ahead and climb up in this car and we'll take a look at what they got in here. How cool is that? I love that they have all the embroidered N&W seat backs on the seats. Really cool. Step out the car here. See, they've got some old trailers there, and then that rolling stock over there, that is actually the Norfolk Southern yard, which is still used to this day. So you got a little maintenance away skidder situation and traditional N&W hand car. Pretty neat there. This is really just a beautiful little place that they've got here. And they do have a steam engine, so let's talk about this. So this locomotive that you see here, this is a 280 switcher style engine. And as you can see, it is painted up in the Norfolk and Western livery, but this was not a Norfolk and Western engine. This engine actually belonged to the United States Army and was used as a switch engine at the Fort Eustis military base here in Virginia. The museum had this engine donated by a private owner, and when they brought it here, it was painted in this Norfolk and Western livery to resemble what a steam switcher would have looked like back in the day. But like I said, this is not an N&W engine, but still very cool. She is massive. And these were just little switch engines. It's unbelievable when you stand beside one of the big mainline engines. But it is massive. I mean, I literally I mean, the top of my head is at the top of the drive wheels. I'm not sure what size drivers these are, but pretty big. We're going to now walk up into the cab of the 606. There's a whistle. Pretty neat. Some of the controls still exist. Firebox, throttle. A lot of the controls have been removed, but blower and water valves. Pretty cool that the hatch is still on the roof. This was a coal-fired engine. Obviously there's no coal in it, but coal would have went here. Just take a seat in the fireman's seat and have a look. Well, there's nothing like sitting in the cab of these old steamers. I've been lucky enough to actually operate the 611 under live steam, but always cool just to sit in these seats and see the sights that the old timers that ran these engines back in the day would have seen. This was hard and hot work. So it really gives you appreciation of where we've come in from this time of the. Pretty neat. We'll walk back up the hill here. So that's really cool. That is a actual Norfolk and Western signal block. Just really a beautiful little place that they've got here. One of the hidden gems in Virginia. I really recommend if you're a rail fan or just train fan, and especially if you like the Norfolk and Western, this is definitely a place to bring your family and stop by and check them out. Got an old N&W Caboose. A couple of box cars. There's a coal hopper down there. And an early GP diesel. A lot of the cars are open up for you to go in and check out. So we're going to go in here and look at this Caboose. So cabooses were the crew quarters for the crew when they were not in the engine. You also would have had a brakeman. They would sit back in the caboose. This is the cupola. Kind of an observation area. So the brakeman could sit up here and keep an eye on the train. The old wood stove. Little office area, little sink. Not much of a bathroom, but they had one. Back in these days, in the restrooms, they didn't have holding tanks, even on the passenger cars. When you flushed the toilet, it went straight down to the tracks. Eventually, they changed that so that the maintenance away crews didn't have to walk over feces while they were working on the tracks. But sitting up in the cupola on the caboose, you see out the window, that's the view that you would have had. Really neat. Take a look at some of this rolling stock they got here. So it's like a 50-foot double door boxcar. It converted into like a little office storage area. More traditional PS1 style boxcar. Coal hopper. take a look at this diesel power up here. So this engine, the 2185, is a GP7U. You know it's a GP by the 2-truck configuration. This engine was also not a real N&W power back in the day. This engine was actually built in 1952 and ordered by the ATSF, now known as the Santa Fe Railroad. Later was sold to the Georgia Southwestern Railroad, and then eventually it ended up here in Crewe, and here's where it was repainted in this Norfolk and Western livery we see today. A lot of people know that the N&W, most of their early GP7s and GP9s, early diesels, they were all in the high hood configuration. As you can see on this engine, this is not a high hood. The cab, it's a short hood engine. For those of y'all that don't know, the high hood would have carried all the way up to the top of the cab. The only visibility the engineer has is out the side windows. Also, if you know anything about the N&W and the Southern Railway, they ran most of their engines long hood forward. So for an Norfolk and Western engine, the cab would have been in the back, and they would have ran it long hood forward. That would have actually been the front of the engine. However, the short hood configuration, you can see that it is supposed to be ran cab forward. Let's go ahead and take a walk up here. It's like old Mother Nature has about got the best of this old engine. Here's the engineer's controls. Take a walk down the side. Here's something cool. This hopper is a real deal N&W hopper. Wow, you're strong, girl. Some old crossing signals. And pretty neat, there's another signal block. I rode an excursion back in 2016 on the 611 when they fired it back up for the first time. And believe it or not, some of these old style signal blocks were still in service on the old main line out here. I rode it from Lynchburg, Virginia to Petersburg, Virginia. And believe it or not, where we're at in Crewe right now, Crewe was a halfway point between Lynchburg and Petersburg, which were two big stopping points for the Norfolk and Western. So you see, this is pretty much my hometown line, and now you kind of understand why I'm such a big N&W nut. Can't really see it all the way, but you can see the old mural of the 611 on the old yard water tower out here. It's really cool. Here's a little skidder. These were used by the maintenance away crews to, most times, just to check track. Pretty basic controls, forward, back, and a throttle. That's about all you had. Pretty neat. This little shed was, I'm assuming, a part of the original crew yard. How cool was that? There's a little signage. It's a shame that the weather's gotten to this. That looked really good in my man cave. So the museum is right over there, but I drove to this side. So like I said, this was the Crewe rail yard for the Norfolk and Western Railway, and the roundhouse and most of the major buildings are gone, but the water tower is here. And they also have this building and this building. These were old parts of the shop. I believe they might have been car repair buildings at one time. They still stand today, and it's a cool reminder of what the old railroad yard looked like. A couple of old box cars that were used for storage are still here. As you can see, barely left. You can still see the Norfolk and Western markings on the side of it. Mother Nature's about done those in, but yeah, it looks like that building there was probably either a maintenance shop or a car repair shop. You see the door where the would have been able to roll the cars in and out of there, so it's pretty neat that that's still standing. Like I said, this still is a operable Norfolk and Southern rail yard. As you can see, the lines and the tracks over there. And I'm not going to be able to walk any farther because, as you can see, this is privately owned Norfolk Southern property. But just wanted to show you guys these old buildings. Really neat.
Equipment and truck and all, they never kept a daily record or anything. But they had to have that CDL, and they had to have the doctor's license, doctor permission every year.
Have you ever been up to High Bridge?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's right nice up there.
It's gorgeous up there. It's a bike trail now.
When I was younger, before they made the park there, you go up there on Friday, there would be a couple hundred people up there partying. Get up there and bring kids, put them in the river. Oh, what's the day, the 19th? Because David's going to be out there by the 23rd. Or hatched by the 23rd.
My babies,
And then one down there.
one down there. How long are they on the nest?
Oh, 2 to 3 weeks. They say varies. Some of them can hatch in 11 days. From 11 to 17 days.
I told Judd, he likes to get out there once a week, and he bought a grill. He's a grill master. But all the other weeks like on hamburgers. But
That's a really cool picture. Sure is, baby. Pretty cool. They got a Norfolk and Western, look like OAO switch engine, and then they got a J-class running. There's the J. You on a bench?
Yeah.
You waiting for the train?
Yeah. When's the train gonna be here? Let's sit it.
Lots of really fantastic Norfolk and Western memorabilia.
Watch this will let me go. He went to the tunnel.
They go in the tunnel. Some really cool artifacts from the Norfolk and Western Railway. Track map, that is really cool. A-class engines. The S1 class, 080 switcher, 604 J class. Man, it's really fantastic pictures. This is all the work of Winston Lake, famed black and white photographer of the Norfolk and Western Railway. All right, gang, and that's going to wrap up this little video here at the Crewe Railroad Museum. Some pretty neat stuff in here. So if you ever guys are coming down through 460 in Virginia, stop right here in Crewe at the Crewe Railroad Museum and check these folks out. A lot of really cool N&W history here and just railroad history in general. So y'all please come by and check them out. They're open Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays from 12 to 4 and Sundays from 1 to 4. So bring the kids by, let them run around here. Pretty neat place. But with that, y'all, we're gonna head back up the road. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I just ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, we'll see y'all down the line.